win. As Trenton Hassel told me, we're really trying to get this over with today. We see this as a chance to grow and make a name for ourselves. Al?
Opening tip, Garnett took it, and Minnesota with the opening possession in the game. Sam Cassell, and we'll watch him with Sprewell now with the ball because Cassell has had back spasms. First shot doesn't go, and the rebound comes off into the arms of Christie.
And that's a huge concern for the Timberwolves with Sam Cassell because he's so good down the stretch of games.
Christie missed the shot, dives to the floor, and we've got a foul call on Minnesota. Dan Crawford, Joe DeRosa, and Bill Spooner are the officials today.
And Al, you're looking at Doug Christie, and I think he's the other key guy. If you look at Mike Bibby, and I said he is the only guy that can create, the only guy who has a chance to create is Doug Christie, and I think he has to do it.
In and out from Stojakovic, but then tapped back in by Vlade Divac. Stojakovic has been very cold in this series, and Divac is there to hammer it back home. Garnett, and his first shot drops to tie the game.
See, he's the one guy on both teams that can get his shot off whenever he wants to. Now, whether it goes in or not, we don't know. Usually it does, but he can always get his shot off.
Bibby off the screen by Weber, and Bibby in the lane drops one home.
But one of the things Rick Adelman said that they have to do is run more pick and rolls. More pick and rolls and get guys involved.
And then the T-Wolves turn it over on the travel. Rick Adelman, who twice took the Portland Trail Blazers to the finals earlier in his career, trying to get back to the finals for a third time, has not won an NBA championship. Christie puts it up. Garnett with the rebound. Garnett led the league in total points and total rebounds. He wasn't a scoring champion. That is determined by average. McGrady won that, but more points and more rebounds than anybody in the league as Sprewell drops home a three.
Yeah, and you don't like that if you're the King, because Sprewell is a streaky player, and he was awesome in Game 5.
Aggressive. He drove the lane. He had 34 points, and here's Weber answering. And Sacramento up by one.
Well, you will see Weber and Vlade Divac and Brad Miller with shots all night. Basically, the Timberwolves have decided they're not going to give any back cuts away. So they're going to leave one of their bigs in the paint, leaving the other big open for the Kings.
Divac taking it up court. Vlade's going to go all the way and puts it in.
That might have been the slowest fast break in the NBA history right there.
That was almost a 24-second violation when he goes coast to coast. Now Stojakovic with a steal and the basket.
Good timeout by Flip Saunders. You know, one thing the Timberwolves and Flip Saunders talked about before this game is keeping the crowd out. His number one key coming in this game was not turning over. Now, this is not slow motion. This is regular speed. That's Vlade Divac going full speed. And then the one thing the Kings said that they couldn't do, or had to do, is force turnovers, and they do it.
26% from three-point land, Doc, and that's been the storage of Sacramento.
It really has. Minnesota has made some nice adjustments. The biggest adjustment they've made, Flip Saunders switched after Game 1, Bibby's big game. He put Latrell Sprewell on Mike Bibby, and their belief is if they can keep Mike Bibby out of the paint, it keeps everybody out of the offense.
Bibby stole the ball. That's Bibby's third steal already.
Now, it's funny, before the game, we talked to Flip, and the one thing he said they couldn't do is turn the ball over. They already have 3 turnovers.
And underneath is a whistle, and there's a 3-second call underneath. Flip Saunders, who played his college ball at the University of Minnesota. That's where he met Kevin McHale, and the two of them have gotten together. McHale running the operation right now, and they have put together a team that was good enough to win the Western Conference #1 seed. That's why they would have home court advantage against the Lakers. But if Sacramento wins the series, the Lakers would have home court advantage in the Western Finals.
All because of Kobe's last shot.
Exactly.
Against Portland.
That made Sacramento the #4 seed instead of #2. foul here.
The one thing Flip Saunders and Kevin McHale did, and we talked about this earlier, is adding Sprewell and Cassell. These are two guys who are good on their own right. You know, Kevin Garnett doesn't exactly make them better. They actually make him better, and that's why this team is better.
And he agrees. He was willing to share the limelight. Sprewell in and out. Bibby with a rebound. Kings up by 5, trying to force a 7th game, which we played on Wednesday night, and among other things, give the Lakers more rest as Weber hits to make it 12-5.
Now that's the 4th time already in this game that the Sacramento Kings have come out and run an elbow pick and roll, and Bibby is getting into the paint. The one thing the Timberwolves do not want him to do.
Irvin Johnson, the defensive specialist, doesn't shoot much. That one well short. Christie comes down with the ball.
Another elbow pick and roll.
Yep.
Bibby gets to the paint.
All the way.
That has to be a concern to the Timberwolves.
Off the pick set by Divac, and again Saunders wants to stop it before it really gets out of hand.
Bibby is going to go all the way down the paint and get layups.
They're on a 10-0 run, and Hassel can't stop that run with that shot. Garnett and Bibby going after the ball. Last touch by Bibby. Meanwhile, Mark Madsen, who came off the bench the other night and had 13 rebounds in Game 5, comes into the game with Irvin Johnson out. There's the former Laker and Stanford star.
And it's a great substitution because what Flip Saunders is looking for right now is energy. Because right now, all the energy is with the Kings.
Sprewell out of the corner. Got it. Three-pointer for Latrell to make it 14-8. Divac is guarded by Madsen, and a foul away from the play. Foul was on Hassel. Let's check in with Michelle.
Al, I spoke with Mark Madsen before the game, and he recalled Thursday a team meeting that Latrell Sprewell called when he said anything else going on in your lives that doesn't have to do with basketball, put it on the back burner. Madsen believes that set the tone and that everyone's really done that, and the focus of this team has changed. I don't know what he'd say about this first few minutes, Al.
Well, Sprewell had the steal and had it restolen. Christie is wide open. Got it. Two-pointer.
Points off turnovers. We saw the graphic earlier. In the 2 losses, they've averaged 20 turnovers. And right now, they're back on their way to a high turnover game.
Make it a 3 for Christie to make it 17-8. 6.5.
You know, these are the shots that they haven't been getting, wide open shots. Most of their shots have been contested. The one thing that the Wolves have done a great job of is contesting shots. So far, because of the turnovers, they haven't been allowed to do that.
And talking with Rick Adelman before the game, Doc, he was talking about in all of the series, there are so many contested shots. Now, the series have been very physical, tough defense. Garnett works it all the way outside. This will be a 3 that doesn't go. Sam Cassell missing the shot.
And Mark Madsen to the rescue. See, great substitution. The guy is a rebounding, he's just an energy guy. He comes in and he causes havoc, and that's what Flip Saunders is trying to do. He can feel the energy all on the other side right now. He's trying to get his team involved in this game.
Last foul on Chris Webber. Sprewell. Garnett, they work it to the corner. Madsen out of the corner and puts that one home. We're going to make it a 6-point game.
And the one thing they can't leave, you know, that was Fred Hoiberg taking that. You know, it's one thing to leave Trenton Hassel, but to leave Fred Hoiberg, that's exactly what he wants. He is a shooter. He is too.
Bibby answers. Sam Cassell again with that back spasm showing no ill effects right there. He just come hobbling back up the court. He had to come out of the game the other night and had electrical stimulation being applied to his back while he was on the bench. And Bibby's going to make him work, and there is Cassell coming away with the steal. Sprewell dishes it off to Garnett in the corner. Madsen is there for another offensive rebound, picking up where he left off the other night. Hoiberg got it.
Mark Madsen has turned this game around, and Fred Hoiberg again with a wide open shot. But this is all Mark Madsen. It's his energy. He's kind of changed this game in the 2 minutes he's been on the floor.
And that's one thing Minnesota can do that Sacramento can't, because Minnesota has a deeper bench. Rick Adelman, for the most part, just going with 7 guys, the shortest bench of any team in the playoffs. Device.
See, they're going to live with that because they would rather take away the middle drive.
Sprewell. Rebound Madsen again, fighting, scores it. And it's 19-18. That's 17 offensive rebounds from Madsen now in this series, and fewer as well. The big three in there right now with Madsen and Hoiberg. Bibby misses everything. Sacramento with a 1-point lead. The biggest lead has been 9. 4:15 to go. Opening quarter, game 6. Minnesota trying to wrap the series up and get ready to face the Lakers. If they can do that here today, they'd meet the Lakers in Minneapolis on Wednesday as Sprewell connects the 3.
Excellent set by the Timberwolves coming out of a timeout. That was set up for Latrell Sprewell all the way.
Brad Miller is now in the game for the first time. Devot's out. Fed underneath. Stojakovic can't get it to drop. Hoiberg comes back the other way.
And those are the shots that Rick Adelman was saying that they had to go in. And you can't miss layups.
Again, they're hitting just 40%, and Sprewell another one, and that is the 6th three-pointer for Minnesota.
He is so streaky, and you know, when you get him going early, you usually have to deal with him the entire game.
Sprewell is 4 for 4 from three-point land, and we've played less than 9 minutes. Latrell with 12 points, 12 of Minnesota's 24. Now Garnett, guarded by Miller. Sprewell passed up a 5th three and then has it stolen by Bibby. He feeds Stojakovic. He can't get it to drop. Again, a blown layup. And now a 2-on-1. Cassell will stop from 16. 26-19 Minnesota, and Adelman has to take a timeout.
Yeah,
so Sacramento got up to that red-hot start. They've blown the lead. They've won a 9-point lead, and they're down by 7.
Yeah, it's 3-on-1. He went to Pace's side because he knows he has to get him going.
Weber loses the ball. Started to fall down. Sprewell all the way, and then Sprewell has it knocked away out of bounds. And Minnesota will inbound. Meanwhile, Cassell in the backcourt.
It looked like Cassell and Chris Weber were getting into it after the play was over. They get tangled up, and just watch it.
Anthony Peeler is going to come into the game. It's been that kind of a series. You had Miller and Martin the other night. I guess Miller got fined, what, $10,000? $5,000 a digit.
You know, what that was, Al, was Chris Weber figured the best way to guard Cassell is by laying on top of him, not letting him go.
Cassell with the last basket, 28-19. Stojakovic, they need him to get hot.
You notice how when he caught that shot out, he was drifting to his left. That's what the Kings need him. The Timberwolves have decided they're going to try to make him drift right, which he's not comfortable doing.
He set it up for himself that time. Was able to get the 3, and then Garnett gets the drop to make it 30-22. And for Garnett, now that's 4 points. Sprewell's been the big man. He has 12 points all on 3-point shots. Weber all the way in. And the offensive foul.
Mark Madsen in the right place again.
30-22. Here's Michelle.
Well, Sam Cassell just really walked painfully off of the court to go to the bench. He's being replaced in the lineup, but he's really showing it out there when he's trying to run the floor. He's a lot slower than he normally is, and I think getting tackled by Chris Weber a moment ago may have caused this. Flip Saunders told me earlier that as long as Sam Cassell doesn't get banged around, he could be okay. But as you saw, he got banged around.
He's been grimacing since he came out for warm-ups.
Well, I have to be honest. If I'm on a court and I know a guy can't get banged around, if I'm on the other team, then I'm going to bang him around a little bit.
You bet. stolen by Miller. Gibby. And a reach in by Martin. Well, we were talking to Rick Adelman about going up against a guy who's hurt. If nothing else, you want to make him work like crazy on the defensive end as well.
Yeah, you want to make them move. You want to make them run through picks. And that's what the Kings are really doing. They're really making Sam Cassell work.
And Stojakovic loses the ball.
Well, I tell you, Sprewell, you know, we talk about Mark Matson's energy. It's been phenomenal. But Sprewell's energy is matching it. You know, again, what Flip Saunders said, they went out and got energy players. And you can see it throughout this game thus far.
Well, everybody knows about Sprewell's energy from his days at Golden State through New York, and then he was very upset when he left New York last year. But he comes to Minnesota, and of course he's been put into a position right now where he's playing with Garnett. He's playing with Cassell, and he's with a team that is the #1 seed in the Western Conference. So it's worked out, at least to this point, very well for him.
Well,
lose again.
You think about the Timberwolves in the past, Kevin Garnett stood out because he looked like the only emotional one. Now Kevin Garnett looks like the calm one on the floor because you have these other guys.
Peeler misses the three, but it's Peja Stojakovic for the putback to make it a 6-point game.
And every bucket he makes is good for his confidence. You know, a guy like Stojakovic only needs a couple of them to go in, and then you're in trouble.
He has 7 in the period. Shot clock at 7. Garnett underneath. Now Martin's going to get it away and get his own rebound and set up the probable last shot.
A lot of standing around.
2 seconds. Martin's got to get it up and does. And that's the end of the period. But Sacramento came out hot, had a 9-point lead. Watch that evaporate. They're down by 6.